All right, everyone, here we are for episode 2 of the Sesh podcast here at Athletic Institute. Guest today is Megan Kauffman, AFLW star for the Fremantle Dockers and staff member here at AI. So, Megan, welcome.
Thank you.
You know the premise of today. It's basically we're going to sit in the sauna for as long as we can. So that's how long the podcast will go for. I'm very confident today that I'm going to walk away with a win because before the podcast, Megan wanted to jump in the ice bath for 10 minutes first to try and get a bit of a head start. So I love that from her. But Megan?
I don't know, you looked a little shaky when you did it with Langers, so we'll see.
I struggled a bit with Langers. I won't lie. But look, first of all, thank you for doing this and welcome to the potty. Different concept. I think we're going to have a bit of fun today. So look, before we get into it, just sort of give us a bit of a background of, I guess, who you are.
Yep.
Your sporting background and sort of what led you to where you are now, and we can sort of ask some questions and follow-ups from that.
Yeah, cool. All right. So I guess I'll start with my tennis background.
Yep.
So obviously I was a tennis player before I was a footy player. Grew up, I've had a bit of a crazy childhood. I was actually originally born in Geelong.
Yep.
Parents are from Victoria. But then we moved to Holland when I was 6 years old.
Yep.
We lived there for 6 years, and that's where I kind of took up tennis.
Yep.
And
what was Holland like? Is it? I mean, I've been there, but
that I can remember.
You're quite young. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I just remember it being very like people really friendly. Yeah. We did a lot of like adventure things. Like we hiked a lot. I learnt to ski in Holland like when I was really young, so that was really cool. So it was a very cool, diverse kind of upbringing in childhood.
And who introduced you to tennis? How did that come about?
Mum and dad used to play like socially in Holland, and then I think I just went along and was like, I wanna play as well. I played a lot of sports as well. So like I played soccer. As well when I was younger, so that was probably my other biggest sport. But yeah, then moved back to Australia and we moved to Perth, and then grew up in Perth my whole high school years, and that's when I really started to get competitive with tennis. So like I said, I played a lot of sports. I did the netball, little aths, soccer, you name it.
Got so good at tennis that you took a scholarship to go to college in the States.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about where you went, how long you were there for.
Yeah, so got a scholarship to go to Winthrop University, which is a mid-major, so like a kind of medium-sized college in the US called Winthrop.
Yep.
So that was in South Carolina. And so I played tennis as a college athlete for 4 years over there, which, was a really cool experience. Something that, has kind of really shaped me.
So studying abroad, like something that I did through my degree was, go to Canada and do part of my degree in Canada. So, and I faced challenges doing that. Like I found it quite tough to be away from family. I think I struggled for the first probably 3 to 4 weeks until I really settled in and met some people and built some relationships. But how was your time away?
Yeah, no, definitely challenging, especially my first year. First year I got quite homesick. I was actually close to, I guess, not getting another scholarship. So the way that the scholarships work over there is they go year by year.
Yep.
So even though you have 4 years of eligibility, that you're able to play your sport, each year is like renewed one at a time. And so I didn't have the best first year. I wasn't really performing, I guess, maybe as well. Like
in terms of performings, were you sort of, how you were what, 19?
18.
18. So quite young. Especially from a physical prep standpoint, this would be the first time walking into a proper S&C facility.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, I had a little bit of exposure through my time at Tennis West, so like the State Academy here in Perth. So a little bit of intro to S&C stuff, but I think it was more like the mental toll of kind of moving away, not being close to like my support system and my family, and then a lot of pressure I think that I put on myself to perform. That I just kind of wasn't meeting those expectations. So my first year was really hard, and I contemplated just being like, nah, that's it.
Yep.
I'm going to stay home. I'll do uni here and like, that's it.
Yep.
But yeah, I had a couple of conversations with some friends. I actually had a teammate who was at Winthrop, and she was actually from Perth as well. So I knew her before, so we had a chat, and she was older, and she kind of just told me to try stick it out.
Yep.
Like, you'll regret it if you don't. Like, think about the opportunity that it is, and like, not many people get to do it.
Yeah, it's a very rare experience.
Yeah. So I stuck it out, which I'm really proud that I did. And was able to
we've got
play my 4 years.
And as you know, we've got actually athletes here at AI
Yep.
who travel to college.
Yep.
There's actually a few who've just come back. Any advice, I guess, to them? Like anyone who's thinking about going abroad to pursue an athletic career or studying career, any advice to them?
Yeah, I think really just embrace the experience. Try not, and it's so hard. It's easier said than done to not put pressure on yourself, but there's a reason why you've gotten a scholarship, and there's a reason why coaches have kind of selected you, and kind of try to trust that. And not put the pressure on yourself. But like I said, it's easier said than done. Like I do it, I still do it now. But yeah, to just really soak it up and try to build as many relationships and kind of experience it. And just enjoy it. I think that's the biggest thing. Always enjoy it. Even like not just the experience of getting to live abroad, but also experience
different culture and different people.
Wherever you are, and then
South
enjoy
Carolina,
the sport
like
as
South
well.
Carolina is probably very, from a political standpoint, very different.
Yeah.
We won't go into politics, but probably have different views than we do here in Perth, Western Australia.
Yeah.
A long way from there, and there would have been some challenges, obviously, with that. But nonetheless, that's obviously set you up and for success. Do you feel like that time away from just your own sort of development, from your own, like especially like from emotional health, but then like even the physical capacity, like being over here we don't do S&C very well in schools. It's something that's very kind of rare, especially we don't have college campuses that are as big as they are in the US. But do you feel like that's sort of been a really good foundation for you leading into now where your AFL career is?
Yeah, I think it was huge. I think from an emotional standpoint, or I guess just knowing myself, like it was a huge, I guess, period of time. Like it was like 18 to 22. That was the 4 years. Big
drinking years old for people listening. Try and drink less if you can.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge party girl. A little bit. But definitely. I guess like through those years of like just kind of learning about yourself, and then obviously I was away from home and from family, and so it was definitely challenging in that regard. But I think it really gave me time to do that kind of self-discovery, which is really cool, and I'm super thankful for. And then from a physical standpoint, like the resources that they have over there are just unreal. It's essentially equivalent to professional sports here in terms of the resources, the money that's there. So it's really cool. So from being able to do strength conditioning, having a strength conditioning coach that was for us, for our tennis team. It was all structured. Our whole schedule was laid out for us, which is awesome. And I think it made when, I did transition to footy and I was lucky enough to get drafted and I made that transition, I was like, oh, I know what to expect. From a professionalism standpoint and all of that. Yeah,
look, since like you sort of got in contact with obviously AI when you were away. You sort of reached out and found us, and I looked at you guys do some pretty cool stuff. Would love to get involved. And you sort of emailed us at the right time. I was like, we need some help. And you sound like the perfect fit. And after meeting you, within the first couple of weeks, I was like, like you were the ultimate professional then, and you weren't even obviously an AFL club. And I think that's a big testament to the US system in terms of college athletes. They do it well compared to us, which is really exciting. But and then obviously, you talk about now, obviously at Freo, your draft story is a crazy story. If those who don't know it, how Megan got picked up to go play for the Dockers in the draft is quite cool. So do you want to quickly spin us through that one?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a very cool story.
Because you were working as an S&C coach, so maybe backtrack. So you did a bit of S&C quickly.
I did.
While you're away at college?
Yes, So at college I did about 2 years of interning as an S&C coach. a year and a half at Florida, which is where I got my master's degree. I was interning with like Olympic sports at Florida, so that's like the track and field, the swimming, volleyball, those athletes. And then I did a 6-month placement at Wake Forest, which is in North Carolina, and I was with women's basketball, which is awesome. It's probably the best intern experience I've ever had.
And we love free labour in the S&C industry, so we love doing 2 years of free work.
Yeah.
We've all done it. Thanks very much for that.
Yeah, it's a tough industry, but yeah, that was awesome over there.
So I sort of took you out away from that question, but now circle forward to getting drafted.
To footy, that's right. I was like, where am I going?
Yeah, so circle forward to now getting picked up. So you're working as an S&C coach at the West Perth Football Club.
Yeah, so I was with the league girls at West Perth. And I always knew when I came back to Australia, I knew I wanted to pick up footy. Like, my dad played footy. I've watched it since I was like an infant. I was like, I need to give it a crack. So I was just looking for a club, and because I was working with West Perth, it was just tricky. It would, one, I think, be a conflict of interest if I went to another waffle club, and then trying to do both at the same time was just tricky. So I was like, well, it's my first year anyway. I'll look for an Amos club that trains on the off days that West Perth aren't training. Chatted to some friends. My friend Meg, shout out. She recommended me to Wembley. She had friends there. So I just went down, tried it, loved it. The girls there were great. And then played at Wembley.
Now, this is what I want to clarify. How many games did you play before you made the state side?
Oh, before I made the state.
And then before you got drafted.
Okay.
So you've walked into Ammo Club first year.
Yeah.
You played how many games before you got selected for the state team?
I think it was 7 or 8. 7
or 8 games of Ammo footy.
Of Ammo footy.
And never played a game of footy before this.
No.
So you never played a game of football. Let's just to clarify, never played a game of football in her life. Goes into Ammos.
Unless you count like primary schoolyard footy with the boys.
King of the pack.
Yeah.
At lunchtime doesn't count. So played 7 or 8 games. Gets selected for the state team.
Yeah. So the PFL state team. So it was like Perth Metro versus Country.
Yep.
That was the state game. And that was on a Friday night, and I played my last game of Ammos the Saturday after that. So I played 2 games in a row. That was a struggle.
Yeah.
And then I got drafted on the next Wednesday.
That's
Freo.
That's incredible. And I can't remember what the regulations are now. They may have changed the rules in terms of a player coming out of Ammo straight to AFLW. I think they need to nominate, I'm pretty sure, or come through like a waffle feeder program. So, but a crazy story to go from not playing to 8 games, state selection, play 2 games in a row. I think you got named in the best, or best on in the state game, and then to then go into an AFL club, within a week and a half is a pretty incredible story. Tell us about your time. I guess it's your second year at Freo.
Mm-hmm.
How was your first year?
Yep.
I know one of the viewers' questions was, what sort of personal growth or learning have you taken away from your first year and being at the Dockers?
Mm-hmm.
So you maybe start with your first year.
Yeah. Well, first it was surreal getting drafted and then kind of just getting thrust into the heat of it. They were already, I think, 3 weeks into pre-season when us draftees came in. So it was, really straight into the heat of things, which was awesome, and everyone was great. I think that was the biggest thing, that I just felt super welcomed.
Yeah.
Everyone was very warm and friendly, which made that transition.
Warm as in you are now? Like, how hot
are
you? Megan hates the sauna.
No, I don't hate the sauna.
But doesn't...
I don't do it at 70 degrees.
She's normally... What? You're normally...
we're not even at 60.
Normally 60 degrees.
60.
So 63 at the moment, so it's not too bad at the moment.
I'm doing all right.
You're doing good. Sorry.
We need to keep talking, otherwise.
I know, we can't stop talking.
Chugging
out water.
Exactly. No, so the girls were awesome, staff were awesome, so it made the transition quite smooth. And then obviously I think having that background in college sports helped me a lot, again, just with the expectations of being like, just with things of being on time, what's expected.
Nutrition, recovery.
Professionally. Yeah, exactly. And then my background in S&C of understanding those 1%ers of training and, like you said, recovery and all of that has helped me immensely.
Yeah.
But yeah, my first year was awesome. I loved it. I was lucky enough to play 10 games the full season, which was awesome. I debuted against Brisbane at the Gabba, which was super cool, just to be able to run out on the Gabba, a kind of, an oval like that is really cool.
Special place, the Gabba.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really exciting, and very excited for this season.
So tell us a bit about the club. So, you know, who's the funny one? You know, who's the one who's always late?
I'm gonna get.
Can you get in trouble?
I'm gonna get in trouble for this.
Get in trouble for this. It's a bit of fun.
If the girls listen to it, well, I'll get the girls to listen to it.
So who's the funny one? Who's the one that just makes you laugh all the time?
We got some characters: Gabby O'Sullivan, Emma O'Driscoll. Shout out. Definitely big characters at the club. Keep the energy up.
Yep.
Always joking around.
Who's
couple of giggles?
Hardest workers?
Hardest workers.
Excluding yourself.
Excluding yourself. I'll say the group as a collective are all.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Smart answer.
Are all amazing.
Yeah.
I think all of us love to be pushed, and I think that's what makes the group really special. Is all of us are kind of like we want to work hard and to be challenged.
And new coach. Coach on.
Lisa Webb.
And how's all that going? Good.
Yeah, really good. Loving it. The vibe at the club's really good. And really enjoying having her at the club, and I think it's going to be a really exciting season.
Awesome.
So good things to look forward to.
Do you feel, you know, being a sort of middle-aged, or not middle-aged, sorry, mid-20s.
He just called me old for those people.
Yeah. When you get to 35, you know, it starts to get hard. But, you know, having external pressure, do you put any sort of internal pressure on yourself or external pressure on yourself? Or sorry, is there any internal pressure from you? And in terms of how you perform, looking up to young girls, like being a role model, and is there any external pressure? Do you feel any of that? And you may not have thought about it. I don't know.
Not really, I guess, because I think of how quick I was kind of thrown into this environment. I feel, it's very surreal because I had watched Freo, the girls, like on TV. I had watched their season before. I had started to follow it since coming back to Australia. So it was, very surreal to then be in that environment. So I don't really think about that a whole lot. I obviously am aware of it, and I think it's something that I'm really, I guess, grateful for, that people might even look up to me or think of that as me as a role model or anything. I think that's something that's super grounding, I guess is a good word.
Humbling,
humbling.
Definitely humbling and grounding. And you are a very humble person, and you always work hard, which is great. Now, your partner Claire, she's obviously a big supporter of yours.
Yeah, huge.
How many games has she gone to? Not to put you on the spot.
Oh, I think every single one.
That's great.
Except maybe some of the away ones, but she flew over for my debut in Brisbane, which was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was awesome to have her there and to share that with her. Yeah, she's awesome. And
AFL also does the Pride round, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And how was that for you, like running out there, representing?
Yeah, I think it's something that the league does as a whole really well. AFLW, to have the Pride round and to be able to celebrate, not just, I guess, you know, for me personally, but then also for teammates.
Yep.
And the wider community. It's something they take a lot of pride in, running out in the Pride jersey. And it's exciting as well, seeing more of the AFL clubs getting around it as well and having their Pride rounds as well. That's something that's super cool.
Yep.
Same with the Indigenous rounds. I think it's super cool having those rounds, and again, it's super amazing to be able to put those special jerseys on and represent something bigger than footy. Yeah,
exactly. I know West Perth, we do that very well. Like we've got a fair few Indigenous players, and I love, you know, last year we bought the actual Indigenous jersey that was created. We got all the players to sign it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a big part of our cultural history.
Yeah.
So I think it's fantastic, the steps we're making in that direction.
Definitely.
Bit of fun now. We're about 20 minutes in. So how are you feeling?
We're doing well.
We're doing well.
I'm really
okay?
sweating.
Yeah, I'm really sweating as well.
But I'm just trying not to look at my heart rate.
What I might get
that
you
will
to do
scare me,
is just the mic. I reckon get the mic and just unplug it and put it in front of you like that, so we don't drip on it.
Unplug it?
Yeah, just there.
Is that going to do something?
No. I just wanted to make sure that it was not getting dripped on.
That's real.
So we talked a bit beforehand, but what is some random questions now?
Yep.
A bit about sort of who you are.
Okay.
Megan Kauffman, aka Megatron, as we refer to her here at AI. Favorite food? You sort of weren't sure.
Yeah, you even mentioned this to me before, and I was panicking because I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know."
So look, it's your last meal.
Yeah.
On this planet, you've got to pick one meal. I don't mind if you go with a entree, main, and dessert.
Okay.
So if you want to go that way, you can go that way.
Oh, I don't even know. I think something that I'll go back to what I always asked Mum to cook when I came back from America, and it was just like a really standard chicken roast.
Okay.
Like roast veggies, chicken.
Yep. Love that.
Just like a hearty meal.
And dessert?
Dessert. I am a sweet tooth.
You are a sweet tooth. You do love a sweet tooth.
I am a sweet tooth.
When there's cake here, she's one of the first people to get involved.
So that's hard. I love donuts, but I would definitely just go with like a chocolate lava cake with ice cream.
Yeah.
And some chocolate and caramel sauce.
Yes, I love that. That's good. That's good.
Go all out.
So, favourite band or favourite song that is sort of shameful to admit? Who is it?
So, I don't really listen to it anymore, but I was a huge fan of Kesha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought all her CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Kesha.
Love that.
Yeah, so maybe that one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she got caught urinating in a urinal one time.
Maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
She was a bit of a
she was
party girl.
a bit out there. Smoothie recipe. Do you have a favourite smoothie recipe? Are you a smoothie person?
Yeah, I'm a smoothie person.
What's your go-to at the moment?
My go-to, it's probably very, very basic, but almond milk, ice, vanilla protein, mixed berries, yogurt if I've got some, a little bit of honey.
Yeah.
Creatine.
Hashtag body science.
Yeah.
Plug for body science.
Hashtag
Thank you for supporting us.
Batch tested.
Batch tested, yes, that's obviously very important. If you are an athlete out there, make sure you're please taking batch tested supplements. It doesn't guarantee anything, but it gives you the highest amount of guarantee possible. So.
Batch tested, yep. I think that's it. Yeah, so very basic.
Yeah, love that.
But yeah.
Favourite moment of last year playing? Like, was there a favourite players moment for you? It's probably a few.
There's a couple, yeah. So I think my debut was just really exciting to be out there. I think I looked up and I saw myself on the big screen, and that was just
that's crazy.
Unreal.
Yeah.
On
my TV. Hi, Mum.
I was like, okay, look back at the field.
Yeah.
My first win was the Derby. So just a little bit of added,
I'm a West
feel
Coast.
good.
I'm a West Coast fan. She obviously plays for Freo.
Yeah.
So I think she secretly supports West Coast. I don't know about that, but I'm just making stuff up here.
Never.
So your first one was in the Derby.
Yep, Derby at Optus.
How did you play?
So I felt I played pretty good.
Yep.
Not my most amazing game, but I played well. Played my role, hopefully.
Yeah. We're going around again, so you're doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, really just soaked up. It was awesome getting to run around and see friends and family up in the stands.
Yeah.
That was probably something that's I'll always remember.
Yeah. Favourite recovery modality? Like, what do you like to do post game for recovery? Like, are you someone who likes a sauna, ice bath, like easy ride? What do you do? Massage?
I do love a massage.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. I do like hot cold. So we've got the ice baths now. So I love doing an ice bath, 5-8 minutes, whatever, and then into the sauna. That's elite.
It is good, and let's just clarify, with Megan's ice baths, there's sort of like half ice baths, like her whole half upper body is like out of the water, her arms are up. So when we do them, we submerge up to neck, so we do them like properly. Megan puts her arms on the side, holds herself up. She does need a stool, to be fair. So we do need to maybe chuck in a little stool.
Because I'm really trying to recover my fingertips.
I know. Your fingertips are important. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. So a bit of contrast there.
Yeah.
So hot and cold.
I do like to sit in the recovery boots as well. Have a bit of a read, just a bit of combination of a bit of downtime, bit of compression on the legs as well.
Yep.
Whatever I feel like in the day, I love it all.
Yeah.
Love the 1%ers.
Love that.
Yeah.
And how have you, obviously with it being an S&C coach, so you have an S&C coach at the footy club.
Yep.
And you're an S&C coach.
Uh-huh.
How have you found that sort of like, have you enjoyed having someone else sort of design the programs for the probably for the first time, obviously? You would have got some college ones.
Yeah, I had it from college as well. No, I really like it. I think it's nice. For me, I'm like, I don't need to think about it.
Yeah.
It's nice to just be able to take a step back and have them take that responsibility. And obviously the team there is really awesome, and I trust all of them. And it's cool because then I can just have those conversations with them of like, hey, can we just switch out this exercise because of X, Y, and Z? And they do that. A lot of the programs are quite individualized,
which is good.
Which is awesome. Based on players' injury history, preferences with like main lifts and things like that. So that's awesome. But yeah, I really enjoy it, just being able to just be the athlete and not worry about being the coach, because obviously that's what I do outside of it. So it's like, I'm the athlete there.
For the people who are listening who want to have an idea of what a weekly schedule's like for an AFLW player, so run us through Monday to Sunday. What does a typical week look like for an AFLW player? Yeah,
well, we probably have about 3 main sessions per week. So that's footy on the track. We probably have about 2 to 3 gym sessions a week, depending on the season and whatnot. I'm really starting.
Say hi, eh?
Yeah, I'm like having to. Okay.
Yeah, okay, starting to breathe.
And then throughout that as well, we'll have education. So game plan, education, really literally anything that the club feels that we would benefit from, not just as athletes and players, but also as people.
Which is good, because here at AI we're the same. We like to put the human element first.
Yeah.
And then the athletes second, so I think it's great that they're doing that. How many hours a week in terms of commitment-wise is it roughly?
Well, I think they're capped at 20,
20
contractually.
Contractually?
Don't know if that's a word.
Yep, there's a word.
Yep, I think it's 20.
Yep.
So, about 20.
Okay.
I could be wrong. Apologies if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure it's 20.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything I'd like to add to this in terms of, I guess, well, I'm not sure if I've asked you, I'm getting delusional now too, but...
Yeah.
Bit of advice for 18-year-old Megan. So one thing I like to do is really reflect on, I guess, your life to the point where you are, and go, look, if I could go back and have a conversation with my 18-year-old self, what bits of advice am I giving them?
Yep.
Knowing what you know now.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing would just to trust the process. And I think a lot of the things that I was like kind of going through, or things that were challenging for me when I was younger, was like, you know, I'm missing out on all these social things for sporting commitments. Is it even worth it? You know, that was something that I battled with a lot. And I was like, maybe I should just stop tennis and like enjoy my life, or enjoy the social kind of aspect. But then I reflect on where I am now, and I'm so thankful for all the, I guess, choices and sacrifices that I made. Because it's why I'm where I am today. And I think I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was just a couple words that kind of resonated with me, and it was what's for you won't pass you. So I think it's, I like that. Yeah, I think it really resonated with me, because I always kind of go back to like, I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And I think about how I struggled with some choices right before I was meant to leave America and come back to Australia. And I think, well, if I hadn't done that, I probably wouldn't be playing for Freo and living the dream. So yeah, it's kind of just always going back to, you know, you make your choices and your decisions for a reason. Trust your gut, and you'll end up where you're meant to be.
And I love that, because I think a lot of young athletes, and who you are when you're 18, 19, and you get a chance to go to college, you know, alcohol becomes a bigger thing. Like when you're young, you don't think about it. But I've seen athletes who have got plenty of talent, who sort of are on the line of, you know, drinking and sport, and sometimes they go the wrong way and they fall out of the sport, and they develop some bad habits. But obviously going to college, you're in that environment. It's very new for you. You know, you can't legally drink till you're 21 in America, so that would have saved you for 3 years. I saw you still had a drink every now and then, but like I said, you're not a big party person. But for the younger people listening, you've got decisions to make, and like I said, you've got to sacrifice some things. I think it's important that you still make time, obviously, as you're aware,
100%,
for family, and but ultimately, if it's really your ambition to perform at a high level, there has to be some sacrifices made.
Yeah, and I think, you know, with that, like, you can still enjoy yourself and have fun and do those things. It's finding that balance, and when you do get kind of given a choice, it's kind of making what's that smart choice of what do you want, what's your end goal, what do you want, and you make that decision based off of that. So I think just trusting your gut.
Yeah, and trusting your gut's a massive one. I think that information from your gut is built in around your environment, things you've said, the conversations you've had in the past. different experiences. So it's definitely a good bit of advice, which I love that. So how are you going? So we've been in here for about 30 minutes now.
My heart rate's 144.
What is my heart rate? My heart rate's 97.
So you're chilling.
I'm chilling. It did turn off quickly and I just turned it back on. So I'm happy to take the W in this situation if Megan doesn't have any more questions or anything what she wants to talk about.
Oh.
But yeah, look, I think your story is a fantastic story. I hope it's a testament to all your hard work, your dedication, and like I said when I first met you, just professionalism came through thick and strong, and it's showing on the footy field. We did a program.
That was in my head to talk about actually.
So we did 12 weeks.
Yep.
In the off season, leading into your pre-season.
Yep.
And I guess your main goals were to get stronger and get faster.
Yeah.
And I think we got some really good results.
Yep.
I think from day one, your max vert was about 40.7 centimetres on the force plates that you devoured. And then, I think you tested at the club in week 13 at 47.5. So I think we equated to like a 16%.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Improvement. Just having a structured program, one day for strength, one day for power, and one day for some sort of moderate stuff.
And again, it was nice for me to take that step back and just kind of be able to focus on my training as an athlete and not have to do it as a coach. And obviously, you've been a great help and supporter, so appreciate you. No
worries at all. I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up for today. I think Megan's bowing out. I'm going to take the W just to make it a win because I lost the lanes. So I'm happy about that. But thanks again for coming on. Give us a like, share with your friends. If you found something in here that you think would add value to someone else's life or another athlete's life, please share it along. We obviously got more episodes to come soon. But once again, Megan, thank you for coming on and thank you for sitting in a hot, sweaty box with me and sharing some stories about US and your sporting career.
Yeah, no worries. Pleasure to be here.
Awesome.
Okay.
Good job.
I need to get out.